Hi guys, so we are doing unit review 2 now. So the two big things, takeaways from this part of the unit were combining like terms and the distributive property, and then checking for equivalence. Okay, so first, combining like terms. So a like term is a term with the same variables and same exponents. Okay, so I need to make my groups. So here I have my x group, and that has 8x and negative 3x. And then secondly, I have my number group, which is positive 4 and positive 3. All right, now I combine by simplifying. So I do 8 minus 3, that gets me 5, and I need to put the x as my final thing. 4 plus 3, that gets me 7. These are both positive numbers, so when I write them as my simplified answer, I'm going to write it like this. All right, let's do it again. So I have my first group is going to be my A group. So I have 4A, negative A, or I can also say that's the same thing as negative 1A. And that is it, because everything else has a power, so that's going to be a different group. So my next group can be our A squared group. So that is 3A squared plus 4A squared. And then finally, I'm going to have my 3 as my only number. And that's positive. All right, so I simplify. 4A, take away 1A, that is 3A. 3A squared plus 4A squared, that is 7A squared. And this just stays positive 3. Again, all of these coincidentally happen to be positive, so I'm just going to put plus in between all of them and write my final answer. Okay, the next thing we learned was distributive property. So distribution means to multiply. All right, so I take my outside term and I put it with the inside term, and then I do it again with the second inside term. All right, now I simplify by multiplying. So 3 times 1x is 3x. 3 times negative 10 is negative 30. Are there like terms? So do I see any like terms in this situation? So I have an x group and a number group. So I just have 3x and I just have my number 30. So I don't have anything I can combine. So my final answer is just this. All right, let's do it again. I take my outside number and I put it in with the first inside number. And then I do it again with the second inside number. Now this 4x was just on the outside. It is not touching or inside the parentheses, so it does not get multiplied. So now I go ahead and multiply everything out. And remember, this 4x is just going to keep getting brought down. Okay, now are there like terms? Can I make like term groups? I have an x group. And I have my number group. I'm going to simplify. This one stays the same. So my final answer is negative 6x plus 2. All right, so in the first video, we evaluated, okay? But we evaluated just to evaluate and plug in. But the reason why we evaluate is to check for our equivalence. So what we just did, when we combined like terms, when we distributed, we were creating equivalent expressions. So for example, this term is the same exact term as this. We're just rearranging it. And the same makes sense for like terms. This original expression is the same expression as this. It's just smaller. Okay, so in order to check to see if we did that right, we need to check for equivalence. So this is asking which of the expressions are equal. So they look different, but their answer should be exactly the same because we're creating equal expressions. So to do that, I need to pick a number for our variable. I like picking 1 because it just keeps it nice and simple. And remember, everything else stays the same. Now I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in. All right, so I went ahead and plugged that into my calculator, and now we need to answer the question. Which of the expressions are equivalent? So expression A and expression C are equivalent because they both evaluate to be the same number. As always, if you have any questions, type them in at the end of the video.